All right, ladies and gentlemen, right now joining us here, we've been kind of sharing some inside baseball with the Red Rock League and featuring some of the collaborators, the talented people in the out of the park community who have made this dream a reality. So with that, we've assembled the Dream Squad. We have another dream teamer, if you will, Flying Canuck. A lot of you probably already know that name from the out of the park forums in the mod community. Now we get to see you in the flesh. Flying Canuck, thanks for coming on with us.
Glad to be here. Hello, everybody.
Hello, and we had to figure out a time. That's why we recorded this interview. With me being in the Pacific Northwest and the Pacific time zone in the U.S., you're overseas. We figured this out where your morning is my night, and somehow the stars
hmm
aligned. We're able to do this. So thanks for making some time here. It's really nice to meet you in person for the first time.
Yes, no problem.
Yeah, it's pretty wild because if I remember correctly, I don't know how long ago it was, but several months back, I reached out to you just through the forums. We had never really talked to each other. I just was a fan of your work. I'd seen these amazing ballparks, especially the international ballparks, and I started looking at these stadiums, going, "Oh my gosh, I need to meet the person who did this," because on a wing and a prayer, I'm hoping maybe you could create some ballparks with us. I mean, that's kind of how it went, right? We just started messaging each other back and forth. I told you about the league. What did you think when you first heard from me? Did you think I was crazy?
No, I didn't actually see your message at first. I
Mm-hmm.
think I was late for 2 weeks. I didn't respond, right?
Right.
It was kind of off season, so I didn't really pay too much attention. But when I saw it, I remember you. I remember I watched you on the official channels a few times before. So I thought that was it was very interesting idea, especially my passion is in stadium creation. So it would be pretty cool to do this and have even more people enjoying the mods.
Well, this is
So I
this
was, I
is
was I was very willing to participate that when I responded, which is about 2 weeks later.
well, and I was so thankful when you did, and I was thinking like, okay, now what do I do here? Because I had also reached out to Eric Jaffe, who people have
Mhm.
seen a lot of the ballparks he's done, and I'm like
Yeah,
going, I didn't
he's
expect
legendary.
both of you to say yes. First of all, what do you think about Eric Jaffe? You've got to hold him in pretty high regard.
Well, sure. Yeah, he was doing this way before I did, way before I started. So I always follow his work as well. And I was very happy to hear that he also agreed to do this because to make 8 stadiums, it's a lot of work. So dividing up into two divisions and have it in time for OOTP 26, that was the perfect arrangement.
It was meant to be. So now we get to show off these ballparks for the first time. This has been a labor of love for you and for me. And so let's just get to it. We're going to go ahead and fire up our first ballpark. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, here we go. So, and this will take just a moment here because I want to be able to share this image with you. So sit tight for just a moment, and we're gonna share that with you. So right now, there you go. So I'm sending what I am seeing right now. This is what our community will be seeing too. Do you see it? Okay, Flying Canuck.
It's not coming up.
Okay, well that's why we check. All right, let me check one thing here real quick. Hmm.
Oh, hold on. Okay, I got it. I got it. I
Okay.
have
Okay.
to
Good.
click
All right.
on this different button here.
Nice. Okay. So you see, right now we're going to fire up our first ballpark. So we're going to start off with the Barstow Buzz. Now you kind of alluded to it. There's two divisions in the Red Rock League. So we have the Mountain Division, which those ballparks we have revealed Eric Jaffe created those ballparks. You get the Desert Division. So, two completely different divisions with two very different feels. Aesthetically speaking, the Mountain Division is kind of more Red Rock country. It is more Like you think of if you've been to national parks, you think Zion National Park, you think Arches, you think Bryce, you think that area of the country. You couldn't even get farther away from that than the desert division. High desert, lot of sunshine, lot of heat. So we're going to start off, and we're going to start off with Barstow, and this is going to be our first ballpark we do today, and we're going to have you kind of give us a little bit of a tour of this ballpark. So we're loading up the 3D model, and the first thing that stands out to me, FC, is that big prominent sign in left field.
Yeah, this one, you gave very good description of the lore behind it, and so the owner here is in the EV business, right?
Mm-hmm.
The electrical cars. So Luna Field, we were talking about how to name this because I didn't want to just use a generic name like Barstow Stadium. So it's good that you already had a name picked out. We were thinking about Luna. So Luna, that's the word. So basically, that's where it came from.
So the name of the actual electric vehicle company is Luna, and then
Mhm.
without any guidance from me, you actually came up with a logo here for the company itself, which I thought was
Yeah,
amazing.
that's kind of
Yeah.
like a moon,
Hmm.
moon shaped logo. And it fits pretty well over there.
I love it. And then right below the sign, and then I'm going to go from night to daytime. And then maybe put I just love that, by the way. Just I mean, this is desert country. This is just bright blue skies, mountains off in the distance. And so as we're now daylight, you see the palm trees surrounding. They're in the background here. Any story behind what we're seeing right now on screen? The sign, these suites over here, this railing, the palm trees. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I care a lot about day and night, how everything looks. So if you switch between the various modes, all the playing around with the colors, right? Everything outside of the stadium need to be dark. And then inside of the stadium remains the same color. So it creates a kind of like an illusion that the stadium is lit up.
What I really enjoy about this Flying Canuck is this that you were inspired to put this model Omega. It's a fictional baseball car right out here in left center field.
Yeah, and I remember talking to you about it. It's inspired by sometimes I see in international hockey tournaments they have they would put a car just outside the glass area. I thought we should do something like that here and display the latest model just beyond center field.
All right, we're going to move on here. Couple things to point out here in the outfield. By the way, I want to get that car. I know this car does not exist, but I want it. Okay, so let's go out to center field. Let's talk about the walls real quick. I'm a big fan of this, kind of like the angular design here. Can you tell us a little bit about the fencing itself and the decision to go this way?
For this one, I think it's just so that it still has a rounded shape,
Mm-hmm.
but pretty much flat.
Yeah.
You have flat edges, right? So that makes it easier because I think you have talked about it before in your streams that we have transparent placeholders
Mm-hmm.
on these walls so that you can put signs on it later on. So having more flat walls would make it easier to put those
Ah,
transparent textures on top.
okay. Yeah.
I
So,
think we don't have those placeholders in center field, but overall, right? Because the outfield is a curve,
mhm.
so having edges, it just happens to be that way in the center.
Well, I love center field. We got the attention to detail, right? It's got to be
Mhm.
like a fantasy baseball universe, a fictional baseball park, but there are very practical things you need, and it starts with you have the batter's eye right there, so the batter can pick up the ball, they can see it visually coming off that
Yep.
black backdrop there, and then we see this. This is the true star of this, and this is, I think, going to be one of the most iconic parts of all the Red Rock League is this board here, the video board, the scoreboard with a timeless clock here, and then this railing porch right in front of it. Was there any inspiration behind this? How did you kind of come up with this idea?
I looked at a lot of independent league scoreboards, just to get a feel what they are doing in different independent leagues. So I think a lot of them, a lot of the ballparks have similar design, especially with the clock on top. I think that's very unique. So I think that's the probably the only ballpark in the division that does that.
And we got a little curveball when you were building these ballparks. Out of the Park 26 hadn't come out yet. And of course, the one year
Hmm.
they make a game changing thing in this universe. It's right before I just found out about going dynamic scoreboards. What does that even mean? And a little inside baseball here. I had read the script copy for that for the trailer, right? And so I'm reading that. I'm like going, I don't know what dynamic scoreboards read. Well, I'll read the script or whatever, and then I find out once we start getting a look at beta and everything else. Oh, dynamic scoreboards means that everything that you see here is live, real time data from the ball game itself, which meant, we have to go back to the drawing board a little bit and change these scoreboards because what it looked like before was like every other ballpark. You kind of make pictures to make it look like a real scoreboard and video board, but you had to go back and change that. Was that a difficult process?
No, the difficult process was in beta. We spent a few weeks trying to figure out how this works. So what you see is the end result. Once we know how everything works and we tested it, we actually made it appear. It's not that hard. The difficult part was before. I think Eric was also part of that. We were in beta. Michael Silva and
Mm-hmm.
also
Another legend.
Joran from OOTP really helped us. We were playing and experimenting. It didn't work for a long time, and then it did. We figured it out.
Who was there one person who figured it out before everybody else, or was it simultaneous? How did that work?
We were pretty much, in the same pace. I kind of figured out a certain part of it, and Eric did others. So it was also kind of a collaboration. We shared our progress with each other.
I'm going to tell you right now. Just I'm kind of messing around with the weather elements, and 9 times out of 10, the evening shot is the best shot. It's got the beautiful sunset. It really sets it off. This is the one ballpark, and it's no coincidence that Luna Field, the moon, when you go to nighttime, and when I saw the clear skies for
Mhm,
Luna Field,
mhm.
I mean, it begs for night baseball. This is such a beautiful picture here. It gives me goosebumps. Did you have that same feeling when you started messing around with the different times of day?
Oh, all the time. All the time.
Oh, so beautiful, so beautiful. So let's go out to right field here. I kind of gave everybody a teaser. Again, attention to detail. We have bullpens, and this kind of leans into the opportunity. You have that railed porch area
Mhm.
right below the center field scoreboard. But then here, you have an opportunity. If you're a fan, you want to just come on over here and just watch pitchers warm up. That's really cool. And then I love this kind of like arch walkway here. And it's so intricate. How did you build that?
Well, I knew that I needed something there, so that both sides are kind of balanced. On the
Yeah.
left, you have those luxury boxes, luxury decks, right? On the other side, you can't just have it empty. You needed something there. So the design should be similar to the theme of the ballpark. So those are just big um, facade, but still it fits into the whole look of the place.
Okay, let's go down here. And it's just absolutely stunning. I love this. Just the little things. You got to find a place. I think of like the Mariners ballpark and other stadiums throughout Major League Baseball. You got to have a kind of area like for food and drink where you can kind of hang out with your friends. Don't have an assigned seat necessarily, but you still get to watch the game while you're hanging out with your friends and move around. And that's the hive right here. Any inspiration for
Hmm.
this? Anything we should be looking out for here?
Well, this is Barstow Bus, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so you need to have everything is about following the same theme and the same feel and the vibe of the place. So it has to be called the Hive.
Okay, let's keep going. Again, we kind of saw the walkway there in right field.
Mhm.
Now we get to see it kind of begin to take shape again, and there's a nice little nod here to that clock, which, by the way, I think is matched up perfectly the same time. So you have the continuity. The time that's on this clock is the same out in center field, and it kind of ties it all together, right? And you have the colors, the blue and yellow from the team
On the
uniforms,
team,
their
right?
logo, right? That's just wild.
They have something similar in Barstow, like City Hall
Oh,
or
really?
the several libraries with that kind of look. So that's where the inspiration comes from.
Fantastic. All right. So again, you kind of see that on both sides here as we take you to now the area behind home plate. There's some luxury boxes here. Limited seating too, outdoor seating. You want to make sure you get the best seat in the house. Maybe instead of $1 for the ticket, you pay $5. All right. So,
Real
um,
cheap.
yeah, right. Hey, these are it's independent league baseball. We want to make sure it's a family event. You want the good seats though. It might cost you $6. All right. The dugout too. Again, the team colors and it says the city of Barstow, crossroads of opportunity.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. Let's go to the next ballpark here. We're going to bring you, let's see, it's from Barstow. Now we're going to take you to Palmdale,
Ah,
California. All
I'm
right.
there.
Palmdale. And
One
this
of a
will,
kind.
what's one of a kind, right? Okay, let's jump into it. And oh my gosh. First off, just a very old time vibe, right? What was your inspiration for this field?
This was, I believe, the first one we did,
Yeah.
the first park uh, to finish. Um, I was just looking around in Google Maps, just trying to get an idea what Palmdale is all about,
Mm-hmm.
and I found there are actually many um, diamonds, baseball diamonds, that you can see on the map, right? So I was just scrolling around, looking around, and I found one that's big enough, that's bigger than the others, right? So I thought, okay, let's look into this place. What is this place? And then it turns out it's a memorial park, right? Oh, there
Yeah,
it
the
says
name's right
William
here.
J. McAdam,
Yeah.
right? So it's a memorial. So I thought it's a memorial park, so it has to be retro, right? It must be a kind of like a classic retro stadium. So that's how it started.
You see the name, and this is actually kind of inspired by the memorial park that you saw with the same kind of lettering and
Right.
everything. A nice nod there. It catches your attention. It gives you that old town vibe. And for the folks who are watching who notice things, and I know you do, one thing that you're going to notice right away is the flags. And what a nice little touch here. You get the United States flag, and then right next to that, you get Palmdale Firebirds flags too, which just it enhances the immersion. And you actually kind of you were trying to figure out here because it's a very modern, sorry, a very classic look, but then you have like how do you keep that but by using the dynamic scoreboard. And I thought you did an ingenious thing here, Canuck. What you did was you actually just put the line score and the count, and that's it. So no video
That's right.
presentation as far as the bat or anything else, right?
Yeah, supposedly that part should be hand operated,
Yeah.
like a old school classic scoreboard. So you can't really have digital stuff on it.
Right.
So I think just keeping line score and the maybe the current count uh will be enough.
Yeah.
At
Just
least you still look like it's still an old scoreboard.
and then here you could get the grandstands here. It's covered. There's a lot of shade because there's a lot of sun in Palmdale, right? Take a
And you
look.
don't see that nowadays.
Yeah, you
You
don't.
know,
That's very
every is covered.
yeah, I was thinking of like Detroit, their
Mhm.
ballpark, the old
Yes,
ballpark, right, for the Tigers. And then you think about those old stadiums, Yankee Stadium, before it was, rebuilt, but still leans into that. That it
that's
has
right.
that classic, timeless feel. Nice little touch here too. I love the bullpens. You really again these are parts of the park that I don't know if they're neglected for people who build them, but I know for here that these are parts that may or may not be seen ever during a game, but I can guarantee you right now during my broadcast I will. We'll have cutaway shots to the bullpen, but like just these nice little touches where you have the awning and the actual spot where the pitchers and the bullpen catchers will actually sit for their bullpen sessions.
The little details.
It is. The devil's in the details. Okay, so now there's so much. And again, you got the adjacent tennis courts, you get all that. But we're going to take you now behind in the grandstand. And when the time comes, I'll have to change some of the signage just so people know for copyright reasons and all of that.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
this is a very this has a very Fenway vibe to me. I can't help but think FC when I see this press box, this media box, I think of Moneyball, and I think of the scene at the end where Billy Bean goes to Boston and he's in the box with the owner of the team. They're
I remember.
overlooking
Right.
Fenway.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Is that where you got the inspiration, or where did you get the inspiration for this?
For sure. Fenway and every older ballpark from the era. I look at a lot of pictures and try to put. There are various elements all around the ballpark, all from the good old days.
Yeah,
So here, Palmdale, there's nothing fancy. It's a old school, functional,
yeah,
uh, simple stadium, and that's it.
perfect. I love it.
So it's all flat, right? So the dugouts is not really. They don't even. It's not underground. You see, you have no steps. Some of the
Yeah.
newer ones, sits behind below field level, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. For some reason it hadn't even dawned on me how different that is, and it's so unique, and it's so it just fits. It doesn't stick out. It feels like it's part of it. The next one on our list here, Flying FC, we or Flying Canuck. We spoke at length about this one, and I got to fire up the sunshine here. This is a place that's known for sunshine, more sunshine than anywhere else in the country, in the U.S., or even in the world. And so that's kind of where we started with this. Do you want to pick it up from there?
Yep, the sunniest city on earth, right?
Yeah.
So what can I say? This one is all about solar panels. There's a
Everywhere.
ton of them out there, and obviously the owner runs that company that you see over there, Renova, and that's
Yeah.
a name you came up with.
Mm-hmm.
So when I built the stadium, it was before I started even modeling. I think I spent about a day or two just planning, laying out the whole place. Because this one's not just about the stadium itself, but the whole area, right? You needed to have the company headquarters on one side, with all that. If you didn't know what Renova is about, just look at that. They are a solar energy
Mhm.
company,
It's right there,
right?
smack dab. You can't miss it.
Yeah, so that's also kind of so prominent visually,
When
and
you
also the
came,
stadium itself,
yeah,
right? The stadium itself is powered by the same clean energy.
yeah. That's right about sustainable, renewable energy. That's their footprint. That's what they did. And
Hmm.
fitting with that vibe, this is actually, in your words, you actually took what was a, I believe, originally a baseball park in real life, in real life Yuma, and then just only in the last, I don't know, 8 years or so, they converted that baseball park. I don't know if you know this part. They converted that baseball park into a soccer stadium because they lost their baseball team. This team in Yuma is gone in real life. They turned it into a soccer stadium. They converted it. And because of sustainable solutions, you actually wound up saying, look, I'm going to take this soccer stadium. You can see the symmetry on this. You can see how very much, if I take
Right.
this overhead view, you can see that the footprint very much like a soccer field. And that was how you started with the baseline for the ballpark. We
Similar
see
to
that.
Palmdale, this is also from a real life location, right? So we just made some changes to it, make it fictional.
Unbelievable. I'm just taking the overhead view here and just top notch. Let's get people down now to field level, and the signage just amazing. I love this. It just pops off the screen. The green and the yellow. Do you have a favorite color, a default color that you tend to gravitate towards when you build ballparks? Because for me, and maybe it's because I'm an Oakland A's fan, or oops, an A's fan. They're no longer in Oakland. Green and yellow. I mean, when I see that, I just get goosebumps.
It's case by case, you know. So with the Red Rock division, we have four stadiums, and I really wanted each one to have a different color wall.
Hmm.
It's again one of those little things that I care about. So you have a different. This is more green than Palmdale. Palmdale is kind of like more of a pale
Hmm.
shade of green,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
then you have dark navy blue. For every stadium in the desert division, they have a different colored outfield wall.
Well, I love this sign here as well. We're getting two here, so we're getting one where this is a very prominent video board out in left center field. But wait, and then you get
That's the
lots of
main one.
information. Hmm?
Mhm. That's the main scoreboard, and then there's a secondary on the other
Yeah,
side, right?
right here. The second one's right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think the smaller one is modeled after real life.
Okay.
When the stadium still exists, that was their scoreboard.
Okay.
So for the Ray Rock uh, League, we need to have a bigger, more advanced scoreboard. So that's the fictional one on the left.
Yeah, we got to go big here when you're in Yuma and you're in the Red Rock League, and that's why we go big, the second scoreboard.
Yeah, this the colors are chosen based on Yuma, right? So again, depending on the environment and the vibe of the city, I try to make it more consistent. And also, this is Arizona, so that strip between the mound and home plate that pays tribute to Chase Field, right? So for me, any stadium in Arizona need to have
That is so
that strip.
wild. I never would have thought of that in a million years. And that paying homage to the Arizona Diamondbacks, of course, which is a statewide team. They're not
Right.
the Phoenix Diamondbacks; they're the Arizona Diamondbacks, and there's a lot of state pride in that, and we can see it here.
Exactly. Yep.
And you got the dugouts, beautiful again, and you have one thing that I'll notice with many ballparks. What will happen is we call these, I believe you call them ribbon boards. So around ballparks, you have
Hmm. Hmm.
signage and it kind of goes on a loop, right? And so with many ballparks, especially now the park, what you'll see is you'll see a sign, but then it kind of repeats over and over and over again. And here
Right.
you've gone to the trouble of creating these individual panels, and these could be swapped out. It's very easily done.
That's right.
Yeah, it's one of those things that really kind of just is that extra little nod. And then the other thing that I notice is you put a couple of the current counts here, right here, the dynamic scoreboards right
Hmm.
in the stands. I mean, gosh, I just like bravo, just amazing. I can't say enough. Oh, I didn't notice this before. Look at this noise meter here. The Yuma Sundog noise meter. Get loud. What a
Yeah, too
touch.
bad it's not dynamic. Those are just textures.
Maybe
And
an
then you
Avatar
also have the
27,
line score, the
right?
working line score on the side as well.
Yeah. Gosh. Again, just those nice little touches. All right. Fantastic. Amazing. All right. So there's Yuma. That only leaves one last ballpark. And here we go. We're going to take you now to Southern California. And it's got a place in my heart because I cry every time I see. I just saw it the other week with my wife, and I knew it was coming. Field of Dreams. Dad, you want to have a catch. The cornfield. The scene where Ray Kinsella plays catch with his dad. And I see it now, and I see the cornfield. I think we just got to start there. And this was an interesting process. We're going to show everybody everything else, but I had a tall order for you. I said, hey, can you create a cornfield as part of this? Because it's an agricultural part of, at least in our fictional baseball universe. Basically, there's somebody who has figured out a way to grow corn and all sorts of other crops in a desert area that's pretty parched. And we're talking about the Victor Valley of California. And I said, can you make a cornfield? And you delivered. But that was not an easy task probably for you.
No, I had to try various various ways to try to make it look like a cornfield. Um, we could easily have because those are just flat textures,
Yeah.
right?
Like here, it looks like nothing. But then
That's
here,
right. That's right.
it's just now. I mean, you just ingenious, right? You work with what you got. We can't do true 3D modeling, so to speak, in something like
We,
that.
we could actually. I tried that, but that made the stadium just so big,
Yeah.
you know.
File size wise.
I had tried, right? I file size and also the game probably, you would lag. Did you run into any lag in OOTP before? 'Cause normally it's pretty smooth the
Yeah.
gameplay, but I don't know. There must be more than 100 corns there in that field, right? I had tried to have 3D models there, and it just slow everything down.
Well, here's another part. And we went back and forth on this, the batter's eye, right? Can you talk about how it
Mhm.
started and how it finished?
That is all you.
Well, you built
That
it.
batter's eye, that's Doctor Dynamics batter's eye.
So you had started off, and I think it was black or blue, right? It was a traditional batter's
Yep,
eye. And
that's
then
right.
you,
I think you just you showed me uh what is it?
the Houston
Is it
Astros.
is it
Yeah.
Houston's ballpark?
Yeah.
Right. Where they have those I think those are ivy covered
Right.
with a little um the logo on it. So that's a very good idea and very good decision to change it there.
Well, the execution of it was even better than I could have thought. Um, all right. So I love this deck area here where it's like, okay, we've got the cornfield, but we got to have a place where fans can watch the game. And really nice touch on there. And then what I really like here is just real quick. I like the attack deer. I mean, they're the
Yeah, that's
antelopes.
just for fun. I was just playing around.
Yeah, so cool. And then if you want to watch this, I love that everything that you see is accessible. So if there are fans here, there is railing to get you there. Like you don't just like, hey, I'm going to put a deck here with some picnic tables and some fans. It's like, well, how do they get there? Well, they took these steps to get down there from this concourse area.
Yeah, that's important to me. Even though these are fictional, they have to be realistic.
Okay, speaking of realistic, your ad could be here. I have to tell you, I did not make this. You put this in here. I love it. So we have these billboards,
That's
and
right.
yeah, did you just go
Well, you can
wild
see
with these?
I had a lot of fun with this ballpark, you know.
Clearly,
That
just
one is probably the last one to be rented out. I think people just want to keep your face there.
I think this is the first one that's going to go. Somebody's going to like, I don't care what this costs, but I need to pay this man money so I don't have to see this face anymore. All right, let's look at the bullpen here, and another again, everything is accounted for. There's the door to get they don't hop over the fence, Duke style from the Duke boys. They take a door, they go through here, and then the nice
Mhm.
signage here, and then oh my gosh, this picnic area too, where people can enjoy the atmosphere. Watch the game and also watch a bullpen session. Now we've kind of saved the best for last, I think. This kind of evolved. We're talking about kind of this kind of like barn like field. And you had, I can't remember, did
Mhm.
you say you'd had something already you were building or kind of repurposed, or how was this first constructed?
Right. This was indeed modified version of another stadium in Turtle Creek. I made that for one of our great community members, Ty Cobb. This was his home stadium in Michigan.
Ah, okay.
Just the grandstand portion, and I thought this is so fitting. It feels you could just put that in Victor Valley, those townhouses, and it would fit. So we recolored it, right?
Yes.
Um, it used to be navy blue, I believe, in Turtle
Mm-hmm.
Creek. Yeah,
Abs-
so the infield, the grandstand is based on that stadium, modified a little bit on the side, and then um, and I think it still looks great in here.
and it's got a very kind of barn vibe to it. And then
Right.
again, something that people aren't going to necessarily see for the most part, but I want to point it out. Well, gee whiz, I just missed the video board too. Can we before we go to that, this video
Okay.
board just it kind of has it feels like San Francisco to me. It feels like Oracle Park, kind of
Mhm.
like this arch kind of trestling going on here with the logo very prominent. So I'm just amazed because your eye is always going to be drawn to the video board because it's going to pop, and especially with the dynamic scoreboards, you're going to see that right away. And I love the kind of like that. It
Yeah,
fits, it vibes, it works. Just A plus.
and that's the biggest scoreboard in the Desert Division.
Is that's right? It is. It
Size wise,
is.
that's the biggest.
Yeah. Well, they want to, I mean, they sell enough corn out here. They can splurge. They can make a nice little video board. The other thing is that I kind of alluded to it, but I mentioned kind of like that this is built on farmland. And so what you
That's
see here,
right.
and I never thought in a million years you would think to do this, but as we kind of go out here, it takes me a while. Sorry with the mouse and all that. But you took it upon yourself. I told you that the owner of this team is a former minor league player turned farmer, and this right here, you do the play on words where you have the V here, but it's not Victor Valley Farm. I never gave you a name for this farm, and you took it upon yourself. Bravo, Victory Valley Farm.
Well, I'm gonna admit right here, right now, that
Okay,
was by accident.
is that
It
right?
was a typo. No, it was really it started as a typo,
No
and
way.
I and then I thought, hey, that's not bad. That's not a bad idea, so I kept it.
Yes.
I was just gonna type Victor Valley, you
Yeah.
know, and it turns out to be great. Victory Valley sounds even better.
Isn't it? It's like I think of different play on words, right? If you were like in
Yeah,
like the Death Valley, and then if you had
hmm
fans and it was really loud there, you could say "Welcome to Death Valley." That it's the same thing I could imagine here in this ballpark where the announcer would say, "Welcome to Victory Valley." You know, it's just a happy little accident, as the great Bob Ross would say.
That's right.
So, all right, there we go. Okay, so we're here with Flying Canuck. We've seen all four ballparks. First of all, thank you. I cannot thank you enough for doing this. Was was it fun for you? Was it as fun for you as it was for me? Because this was just amazing on my side. But I'd like to get your perspective on building these ballparks.
It was quite an experience, and I enjoyed it tremendously.
Thank
So thank
goodness.
you for reaching out, and it was a great experience overall.
Fantastic. And can I ask you, like, how do you log? Do you get a good idea of how long it takes you to do this? I would imagine from ballpark to ballpark it changes, but overall ballpark
hmm
figure, pardon the pun, how long does it take you to build one of these ballparks?
Generally speaking, about 2 weeks. If everything goes smoothly, about 2 weeks. Sometimes, because I'm slower than most modders, I really take my time with each stadium. So 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks for each of my stadiums.
Wow. And it was so worth the wait on these. These are going to be timeless. And I just I'm blown away. And I don't know how there are some things where I'm like, I could do that. I could do this. And then I see you do this. I'm like, there's no way I could ever do this. Do you have any advice for anybody who's watching right now that might want to try this? They have an artistic side, they have a technical side. If they
hmm
go, you know what, I think I want to try this. What would be your advice to that person?
Just go do it. We all started as rookies. I think I started doing this about 5 years ago, building actual stadiums. And you can really tell the difference between my latest ballparks. If you go back and look at my very first one, there's a clear, it's night and day.
Hmm.
So don't be. It's not that hard. Maybe there's a bit of learning curve, but just go do it.
That's the important thing, right? Is those experiences where you're not perfect. You're not, and you'll be the first to say you're not perfect now. You're still learning from ballpark to ballpark that you need to start
Sure, for sure.
somewhere,
Every
right?
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We try different things every year, and really, it's fun. It's truly fun. So I would encourage if anybody wants to try this, and the community is very helpful, right? If you have questions, just post on the forums. Somebody will definitely answer.
One of the most fun things in this entire process, first of all, has been kind of going back and forth. That you're just getting up, I'm just going to bed. We're sending messages to each other where you're saying, "Hey, I've been inspired. I've got this picture here." You're giving me updates, which I'll share probably on our Twitch channel as well. But the one thing that really stood out to me was that you and Eric Jaffe, and you mentioned Silvam and a bunch of other people in the community, that you hold each other in such high regard. And the one vibe I really got talking to you and Eric Jaffe were that both of you were so excited that the other one was a part of this process, and you couldn't wait to see what the other person was doing, right?
Well, sure, yes.
Yeah, just this
Oh, and,
mutual
and don't
respect.
forget Suichi. Suichi is also really wonderful.
Yeah, and he was working on the uniforms and ball caps, and so that was
hmm
amazing too. And I had connected those dots, by the way, that I had seen somewhere in the forums or something where he was in contact with you, and that you guys were having back and forth. This was totally unrelated. This was about I can't remember what league, what ballpark specifically, but that some way, somehow, these paths just cross. And I think that's the great thing about this video game is that there's so many different ways to play, but eventually you start hearing about different people. And I got to tell you, and this is going to probably inflate your ego a little bit, but when people started learning that you were going to be building ballparks, they're like, oh my gosh, this guy's a legend. He is amazing. And people just think the world of you. And on behalf of everybody who is watching right now, I would just like to thank you so much for everything you have done. Not for this. I mean, thank you for that. But thank you for everything before this, during this, and after this, that you make the game even better. It's already a great game, but you make the game perfect, for lack of a better word. The experience, the everything. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that.
Thank you. And I'm just glad that people are having fun. And thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, with our time difference, I got to go to bed. You probably have a busy day as well. So thank you again. And I know our paths are going to cross again. And I promise not to ask you for more ballparks too soon, because I want to expand this league at some point. But we need to give you a break.
Sure. You have to get out of beta first.
All right. It's a walk-off from Flying Canuck.